Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video, and today I'll be doing a build video on the Tiny Hawk 120 frame, 120 millimeters, and in this video I'll be using the JJRC JJ-1000 electronics because they're simply my favorite. It's just amazing value for $13 bind and fly on gearbest.com. I'll leave a link. That's what, and I'm sorry that I already have it apart because this is actually take 2 of this video because I got into it and then realized I did it wrong, so I had to take it apart. And then I didn't think it was worth putting the JJ-1000 back together, but it's very simple to take it apart. There's just 4 or 8 screws total on the frame, and it just pops apart, and then there's 4 board screws, and it all just pulls right out. I mean, obviously you have to take the props off, but that's it. And now here's the frame, and now there is a glossy side, as you can see I have here, and then there is a more duller, not glossy side, and I'm going to put the glossy side up. It does not matter though. And this is the top plate, and then over here is the front, and this is the bottom plate here, and over here is the front. So what we're going to do, and it comes with the 4 arms, 4 little motor pods, and a bunch of screws and spacers, and then it comes with double-sided sticky tape. And what I made, because I have an old JJ-1000 board that I modeled building this to just make it smoother. It wouldn't fit between the plates, and it has to fit that I want it in between the plates. And because this is carbon, it's conductive, so I didn't want it to be touching. So I made these little wood spacers, as you can see here. It'll focus. These little wood spacers, and I just drilled holes in them. I believe it was a 7/64 size bit, US bit, not metric, and so these screws will just fit through, so I can use these as spacers to keep the frame apart. And also, I'm going to put little sheets of plastic. These are just little thin plastic. This is actually off my D4R2 receiver. The packaging's just to keep the board off of the carbon so it doesn't short it out. And they do have a plastic polycarbonate version, which I think I'd recommend because then you wouldn't have to worry about any shorting out. But yeah, that's about it for that. So let's get to the build. And you're going to want, if you want the glassy side up, the glossy, you're going to put that face down, because the way I want to do it, I think it's found the easiest, is to put the screws up through. And now these holes aren't threaded, but some of them are a little bit tight, and I think you should twist them most of the way just to get them through so you don't strip these plastic screws, because that's a sort of a negative in my point. These screws are plastic, so they can bend really easy. Okay, there we go, and I have all the screws through, and now some of them are a bit looser than the others. That's why this one's just floating, but that doesn't matter because the nuts tighten down on the other side. Now I'm just going to take the frame here, and now since this is actually, it's going to be going this way because these screws act as landing feet there, the board, what you're going to want to do, the board is going to, since, move this, this is the back top, so it's going to go in like this with the upside like that. And I'm just going to lay that on there because it's just easier to put that on there right now without the other side of the frame on. And now I'm going to put the arms. They also have a glossy and rough side to them, so I'm going to put the glossy side face up. And I want them as close to the top plate as I can, just because I think it looks better. So I'm going to put those on first. And they just slide over the screws. 2 screws, they have 2 holes in them. Okay, there we go. Now, since I'm using the JJ-1000 board and the spacing wouldn't be right, I'm now going to apply these little wooden spacers that I made. Okay, there we go. I now have those. So now you're going to take the board, and I want the glossy side up. So I'm going to put that down, and you're just going to set this over it. Just kind of fit it on there. And well, actually, you don't need the board on for right now. It's just kind of getting in the way there. So you're just gonna slowly tighten each of the screws down. This is there's other ways to do this, plenty of other ways, but I've just found this is about the easiest way that I've been able to do it. So just once you get it started, it's not bad, but getting it started is the hard part. Okay, there we go. I now have all these screws started. So you're just gonna slowly tighten down, like do this one, push it in a little, then just keep rotating so it goes down evenly. And you don't really need the board on quite yet. I just do it this way because once you get down to the end, if you fully tighten it, it's a little hard to fit it in there. And it's just more convenient to do it about when you're about halfway tightened with the screws. Okay, and once you have the frame about that far, that's how far I'm going to do it. Now, this varies. You can do it pretty much however you want. So, now I'm going to put the board in. I have it here. And now, since this is going to be the front top, it's going to go in like this. So you just slide it in through here. The battery cable is on the top rear, just to let you know. So that's how you can know. And then I'm going to put the antenna up through this little hole in the front here in the frame. And I'll show you when I'm done. And then the micro low-Z connector for the battery is going to go through there's a little hole in the back, which is actually pretty convenient. And I believe that's what they're made for. Having a hard time fitting this through. Man. Okay, there we go, got that. And now what I'm going to do, just for convenience sake, I'm going to take two of these little rubber bands. They're loom bands. You can find them on eBay. I think I got 1,800 of them for $2 from the US. And I'm just going to rubber band around the sides of the arms here just to hold it up and keep it out of the way for right now. And then I'm going to add that plastic shielding in later. Let's get the motors out of the way. Okay, there we go. Just to hold it out of the way for right now, and then I'm going to continue to tighten down those screws. Okay, there we go. Now that I got that all tightened down, as you can see there, because of these little wood spaces I made, there's plenty of room to keep that the top plate from touching. And now I'm going to take the little plastic cover protector that I had. Whoops, hit the camera. I'm just going to take these rubber bands off. And now I guess there's quite a bit more room than I imagined, so you don't, I guess, need to put them on, the board on yet, but I just thought it'd be a little bit more convenient. And now I'm just going to slide one of these under the board to pull the motors up. Let's see if I can get it in there. Okay, now sandwich it down. Put the bands back on to hold the plastic piece. Let's put that there. Okay, now this would work a lot better with a different sized board, like say a Hubs X4 or a more rectangular square board like that. But the JJ-1000 or 1000A board is just so great. I don't care if it sticks out like that. Now I'm just going to readjust this plastic piece a little bit. Okay, and put the frame pretty much in the middle. Now you're going to take these little white motor things and they just stick right on. And now they don't go in very far. They only go in a little bit, so if you want you can glue them, but I doubt they'll come out because I'm not sure what they're 3D printed out of, but they're kind of like a powdery material. So that's kind of weird, but whatever, as long as they hold the motors fine. Now you can get 8.5mm in other sizes. Now I'm just going to take the motors to find the right one. They're all stuck together. And I'm just going to slide them up through the mounts pretty tight here. 1 second, I'm going to get some pliers and do that, so I'll be right back. Okay, here we are back again. As you can see, I now have the motors installed, and they were just a little bit hard to get in, but once you got past the very front top getting up through, they pushed in really easy, but yet firm enough to hold them there. And I also put 4 pieces of heat shrink over the arms as far as they would go in, just because, just safety first, you know, you don't want this board to be shorting out. So put this piece of plastic back in under it, and where's my bands? Over here. Got a bunch of colors, so let's Just loop them around over the arms. Just move them in there. And this will keep the motor wires somewhat clean in there. Let's get another band, do the back. Don't get the battery cable in there. Now let's reposition the board and whoops, I didn't want to go. Well, I guess I can go around the wires there. It's not hurting it, keeping it cleaner. Okay, move the board. Just want to make sure I have this plastic covering it all. Oh, my battery is going off. Another battery I'm charging over there, flight battery for this. So as soon as I'm done, I can get that going. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now this heat shrink does cover up the LEDs on the arms, but I don't think I'm really going to be doing any night flights with this. So yeah, I'm just going to put 2 more rubber bands just to make sure this board's held on there really good. And also for when the battery goes on, just put 2 sideways here. Got a bunch of different colors, and I use these bands for a lot of things, so they're really helpful. Okay, there we go. Now I got a nice hold on that board, holding it down. Just make sure the circuit board's generally in the middle. And now it comes with a bunch of these little plastic nuts to put on, and now you have to screw these down over all the long screws here. So let's do that. Okay, there we go. I now have all the nuts all the way down, but now I'm going to tighten them just enough because these arms do fold. These arms, that's what these swivels are for. But however, because of this board and the motor wire is a little bit short, I think doing it this way pretty much restricts the folding aspect, but that doesn't matter to me. So now I'm going to tighten those. Now keep in mind they're plastic, so you don't want to over tighten them. But I'm just going to put that there. Just torque them down just enough so the arm's not going to be moving. Okay, sorry about that. Here we are again. So, like I said, just torque these down, just not over tight because plastic screws and plastic nuts, just enough to tighten down the whole frame and keep it all nicely together. Okay, yeah, that's definitely tightening up the arms, which is good. It's what you want. Okay, let's do this side. Make sure the arms are all as far back as they'll go where you want them before you tighten it all down. Okay, 3 more. 2 more. And okay, now we are all done with that, and the battery will just, the way I'm going to do it, the battery will just go under there. So now that I'm done with that, okay, just check the arms. Yep, the arms are all nice and secure, so those won't move. And I don't know about you guys, but that looks pretty sweet right now. And it's getting a little bit on the heavy side, so it might actually be a bit heavier than the 1000 frame, but who cares? It looks awesome. So now let's put the props on. And I remembered the orientation, so just stick on like that. And now I also have JXD 388 props, or 392. I'm not really sure which one, but a viewer recommended them to me, and I have the black and yellow ones. So I think they're 388 to try out since they're quite a bit bigger. But yeah, there we go. That was the build. Look at that. That looks awesome. Maybe if you could put... I think this little platform might actually be for a mini FPV camera like the Spectrum one. So yeah, there's. I'm probably going to mount the battery underneath, but you could put it on top. But I just wanted to keep the top clean because that just looks awesome. And yeah, good clearance between the boards there. Those little wood spacers I made worked out really well. So yeah, you could build it other ways. This is just the way that I decided to be easiest, and I got that glossy up on top. So yeah, that looks really awesome. I'm going to do a maiden flight as soon as that battery, well, it is done. You heard it in the video. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.